More ALGS roster updates, and one of the biggest updates Apex has had in a while. Finally going in the right direction, it seems. And how does this all take into effect when it comes to the esports side of things? Well, it looks like a lot of good news is coming out as of late. Honestly, over the last couple of months, I think we can all agree we have been slightly worried, but now it seems like some of those things are subsiding. Let's talking about what's going on inside of the world of Apex Legends esports. Firstly, if you've missed some of the roster updates, organization updates over the last couple of days, just kind of want to like loop some of these in. Nine Lives esports, of course, we already talked about a lot of these PSQ winners coming out locked in. Now Nine Lives, but was VSM. This is Vane's roster. These guys are so talented. McLovin, Vane. I mean, I had no surprise, no shock whatsoever to see that these guys got signed. But I will say I did not expect Nine Lives esports to be the one that come and swooped in. I do know of another organization that was trying to grab this roster, but I had heard that obviously Nine Lives was a step ahead. So Nine Lives is back in the scene with this roster. Very talented roster, might I add. Also having some scrim success already. So look out for those guys. Also wanted to make mention, by the way, that keep that in mind that some of these other PSQ guys have not been signed yet. They will be announcing, from what I'm hearing, they will be announcing pretty soon. But I do know that there are multiple organizations looking to jump back in this scene with some of those guys, being that they're probably a little bit cheaper than some of the other pros. Also, Reject Winity are back as well. Look at this roster. I thought this one was very interesting. Reese is back in this. Obviously, Reese is a fan favorite, pretty big streamer, North American, connoisseur for a while. This guy's been here, he's been there, he's been all over the place. And, he's also been a guy who's played with some younger talent that have now branched out to do their own thing as well. But teaming up with Mia K, I really like this roster just because, I mean, this got some goats here, bro. A lot of people that have been here and competing for a while. Same thing with Kindertrip Gaming. This has got Yuka Predator. And look at this, Dogma obviously on the coach staff now. You're starting to get to a point of Apex Esports where there truly are some veterans in every single region. And so it's very cool now to see some of these younger guys and some of these people that just have not necessarily had their limelight yet. Obviously, they're great players. They've been around, obviously they've been playing the game long enough to be good enough to play in the ALGS. But Vols is not the only one. So I'm excited for this Kindertrip Gaming roster as well. Obviously, we will keep you up to date with how the performances continue to go. And then also a little bit of an org update. Monsoon, this is from many days ago, but just thought I'd loop it in just in case you guys missed it. Monsoon basically announced that they were looking for an organization. Obviously, things probably didn't end with Complexity the way that they had hoped for. I really thought Complexity was going to stick around a little bit longer, but unfortunate, obviously. But I do think that this this roster right here is one to consider big time. And the reason is because Complexity, I think over the last two splits, have kind of shocked everybody anyways. A lot of people going into year 4 was a little bit worried about Monsoon, right, in the future that he had inside of the ALGS. Once again, I bring it up. It's been a while, but I know the friendship teams and not taking it serious. He was accused of all these things like, hey, this guy's, he's good, but he's not taking it maybe as serious as someone like Hal was. But then you would see that Monsoon was able to really lock in between his, I think one thing that he gets criticized for no reason is, it's looked at a lot of times as this friendship league or it's two Mr. Nice Guy. It's not always about win, win, win. But I think honestly, he just learned how to have a good outside culture that I think a lot of other teams are actually lacking. Like, I think a lot of other teams don't really build like outside chemistry. It's just all business. But I think some of that outside chemistry, that IRL chemistry, could be very helpful for a roster. And I feel like Monsoon does a very good job at that personally. And that's why I would say, look, don't sleep on this roster. I think this team is really good. Monsoon, obviously, he knows how to lock in, and he knows when it's time to step it up and seriously focus. And obviously, they've had great results last year. Going at the end of year 3, I was a little bit worried, but year 4 turned out to be pretty good, and they were consistently proving people wrong. I think adding Funk to this roster is still going to keep them going in the right direction. I don't necessarily think that the swap for Funk and Enemy was game-changing, and oh my goodness, this is surprise. I mean, they're both really talented players, very similar in some ways, so we'll see obviously how it shakes things up. But I think Funk's a great guy, and I think he's a great player, and I think this roster will still continue to surge up and maybe impress a lot of people. Also, big updates going into the future of ALGS. We knew this was coming, but Apex Legends Status had posted that DGS now supports automated legend bans from live control panels page. And this is, of course, because legend bands are set to be coming into the ALGS very, very soon. And actually, I've been hearing that they may do this and implement this in ranked in some way. I'm still hoping that obviously we'll get POI drafts one day in ranked, legend bands in ranked. I think having a replica of the esports scene, that's always been my go-to. If you ever watch my main channel content, it's mostly casual players, and they all disagree, and they don't think ranked should be a replica of esports at all. I think it should be. I feel like people want to feel like the pros as much as they can, and that's like the only way to do it. So I really like to see more of these features continue to go inside of the real version of the game. Obviously, time will tell. Now that you've had some patches, by the way, if you haven't seen it, the patches have made people love the game again. We've had Hal hyping up the game, saying the game is back. HisWattson saying that we may actually be back now. Everybody's hyped up about altar buff, wraith buff, all this other stuff. Well, how are these patches actually and buffs actually translating into some of the Scrim results? Well, just kind of recently, this was in the Scrims last night. Newcastle still obviously way up here, 44.5% pick rate. Wraith, though, this one's no shocker. This is the one that from the patch notes, we kind of figured Wraith might come back into the meta, and she's been pretty active. But look at how well this distribution still continues. Wraith at 39.47 at the second place pick rate here. Ash still up there, 36.6. Crypto still at 36.6. Rampart up there at 28, basically. Catalyst at 25. Bangalore at 23. I mean, so many people are still using a very diverse legend pool. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think that you'll continue to see more teams kind of have their opportunity to surge up, and that's because with there being so much with there being so many combinations that you can make that are actually reliable, applicable, and relevant, that gives teams to cook up new metas that they can be early on, right? And they can kind of pioneer some new style of play. And it just basically is going to come down to how dedicated and committed are you. So I like this. I think this is kind of pushing us in a better direction. And honestly, Wraith for comp, in my opinion, is always a good thing. Like, it just gives people more fun while they're playing because that's that kind of legend, and I think it makes for some pretty big plays when someone pops off. Also, let's go over Scrim results and talk about how teams are looking as of late. And by the way, stay tuned, because at the very end of the video, we got to talk about something even bigger than just good news for Apex. So 100 Thieves, Oblivion, Shopify Rebels in last night's Scrims, ACP, Flat, Ape Gang, Broskies, Huss, Purple Slushy, Nine Lives Esports, all in your top here. And then down here in the bottom half, you got your Falcons, Thuggets, NRG, LG, Stallions, Liquid, Alienware. The list goes on. But so far, we've seen actually pretty good consistency from 100 Thieves, which you got to tip your hat to. But the overall weekly report coming from Scary Item over on the competitive Apex Reddit thread, really good list, by the way. We saw this last year as well. A lot of people able to put these together. Your average placings right now, weekly average, number one is the Falcons. The Falcons have been killing it, 54.9 weekly average. They've got the highest weekly average. And you can also see how consistently they are actually showing up to play itself, which is a pretty big deal, because you do have some teams down here that are not playing as much and only showing up for 1, 2, 3, or 4 sets. And obviously some people have been trying to figure things out. I get it. It is what it is. But Falcons showing a lot of consistency. But look at that. 100 Thieves also showing very good consistency with a second place weekly average. And then you got Stallions. I feel like that's a pretty big upset or surprise for the... I mean, we know Stallions are good, and obviously they had pretty good recent results. But I don't think you would say Stallions compared to, 3 months ago. I don't think you would have predicted this. And I'm really looking for them to finally get signed by an actual organization, because I feel like they've proven themselves by this point. Shopify Rebellion in fourth, Broski's Liquid Alienware, LG, ACP. After that, you start to see, a little bit of inconsistency with counts of how many Scrim sets have actually been played. I feel like the top 5 are your big takeaways here. And then for probably the biggest news in recent Apex history, it looks like Apex 2.0, ladies and gents, might be confirmed in a latest Epic Games survey. Apex Legends 2.0 is actually listed as an unreleased game when asked, which of the following unreleased games are you looking forward to playing? And Apex Legends being listed there really hypes people up, because number one, you've already seen the CEO of EA talk about how big of an update is coming to Apex, in where it's basically Apex 2.0, if you will. So, but then they also said, like, look, we're never going to do Apex 2 because, the second thing is almost never as successful as the first thing, which I've always disagreed with. There's plenty of examples where the second part can be very much so better than the first. But also, you've seen where they used to say solos was never coming back. I almost feel like it's a marketing strategy to say never and then go back on their promise because it makes it that much more of a big story. HisWattson also saying, OMG, it's actually happening. I mean, it's been a lot of positivity lately. He's also saying the casuals were right all along. Got to stop making Apex Legends balanced. Just make it fun. And you've also seen Hal say Apex is back. People say that Apex is back. And are we actually back? Are we actually improving? That is the hope, of course. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with everything going inside the world of Apex Legends esports. And until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.